bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out and I'll lay your shit bare. See how I leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me of us. It keeps me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep. How y'all doing, collective? It's a new day. It's a new beautiful day and good day to everyone. I'm just, random posts, just this kind of like intermission between me posting my clearing post where I just go back and visit the past and the energy I was in and, basically try to break it down for, someone it may help, others it may help, and myself. Just kind of channel cycling through, because you could be feeling several different energies at once, in which case you could be overwhelming and you can make unfavorable decisions or stay in unfavorable situations to the point that you may even be blindsided because you're experiencing so much at one time. So it's kind of like a self-assessment, self-compartmentalization, self-soothing type situation. And so I think I have about 3 parts so far, and I'm gonna guess it may go all the way up to 7 to 10 parts of just the shit I've been through and like the situations and situationships I've been in, because I've never known like anyone else besides myself to be like truly loyal. Like I'm like the only person I've known that's like been truly loyal to me, and like or it just has yet to be proven, right? Like there's been people who have put up with my shit because I'm not exempt from having my moments, justified or not, but I definitely have my moments, and just balancing the scales of people putting up with my shit and me putting up with other people's shit or whatnot. And that's basically what I'm doing. I'm not trying to revisit the past and stay there. And I got some angry bots that are mad, like some bitch ass dude standing outside yelling down the street somewhere, or standing outside my trailer, if I leave my window open, trying to talk shit, like trying to stand somewhere out of eyesight, because and the police, you've seen my truck, you've seen me around, so just know if dude ended up like lifeless on the ground, it was definitely self-defense, because I'm not checking for this hoe. I'm not checking for any of those hoes. I was at the Planet Fitness yesterday, and they were in there trying to antagonize once again. They stood outside, had a sideways conversation, but never approached me. I took my sweet time getting in my truck too, but there was no direct approach or confrontation. But also the fact of stalking, harassing, and trespassing to the dude that's whatever, unless he moved in the area, that's some next level pitiful shit, stalking. And I did ask him where his girl was, and I'm pretty sure these motherfuckers have girlfriends they like to brag about. But just putting it on blast, just so police are on notice that these hoes are still falling. I know they're falling. And that's the funny part about it. It's just like the fact that they're moving like this and they're going even harder about it shows how desperate they are, shows that they are falling, and that a lot of them, they've been caught and caught up. And, you know, they're really out here going out sad, you know, like getting picked off one by the police and whoever else. So, you know, like they even went as far when I was living with the situationship to drop my address, you know, which he had all kinds of strange people, including people who were in some of my martial arts classes, like stalking my house. It was kind of, well, I can't tell you who. I just know I saw some of the same cars and some of the same cars, right? And you know, it just is what it is. You know, I'm pretty sure it's been investigated thoroughly enough that they, you know, the departments, the several different police departments know, and they've gotten so many people involved in trying to steal whatever it is they're trying to steal, because it's like, if they weren't still trying to steal it, they wouldn't be around anymore. They would have been like discarded me and left me alone, because that's the type of people they are. And yeah, I'm standing on business. I mean, it would let it fall where it may, but I ain't going anywhere until it's time for me to go somewhere. You get me? So, you know, they've been trying it. They've been trying to scare and intimidate. I'm like, it's nothing scary to intimidate a motherfucker that can't even confront you on some real shit, that you can't even sit down, you can't even have a conversation with them because they too busy trying to hide. So I'm just like, what's the point of you coming around except to be fucking annoying and try to wear somebody down mentally, which is what they're trying to do. And they're probably gonna try to lie their way out of it if anybody saw them and they're like, oh yeah, I just saw your car over there where it wasn't supposed to be, too close to where this person is, you know, like, or they Ubered or whatever happened, you know, because I'm pretty sure they get clever about everything except for when they're not wanted. So it's like, when they're not wanted around somebody, it's like, all of a sudden they just play dumb. Me, I'm just laying low and playing slow. I see all kinds of different shit. It's like, you know, to me, that just tells me I'm just closer to my, you know, my inheritance, be it earthly, spiritually, or whatnot. You know, it's just like I'm closer to something that they want than they are. And that's all it tells me, or what they want is what I actually have, but I don't know I have it. You know, and they're trying to give me something that they have, but don't want me to know they have it, which is probably herpes or something. They accuse me of having that, and they even went as far as to manipulate some paperwork when, you know, it's all, that's another story, right? So I guess I'll start there, right? So I was in this let me see. Okay, so the first situationship where the guy wasn't there, he was a Marine, military. Basically, you know, he was giving me you know, thinking back at it, he was giving me con artist vibes, because I know, like, you know, if the man is going to be successful, he's going to be busy, right? But, you know, it turns out dude wasn't busy. He was, you know, smoothing some chick that worked at like a fast food restaurant or some shit. Just like, okay, cool, you know, like, I'm not tripping, but it's, you know, like, I remained indifferent, and it was kind of messed up, because it's like, there was no, it's like, you know, it's what some people do. Like, I'm not exempt from getting cheated. Hell, there are celebrities that got cheated on, and so it's just like, there are people who are just like, you know, they look like little angels or whatever, and they got cheated on and played and all this stuff. So why, you know, I'm not exempt. So, you know, I just took it with a grain of salt, and just like, okay, I'm gonna benefit, well, not even benefit, I'm just gonna take it for what it is and see, you know, how far, how I need to escape this situation, basically, and how long it will take me to escape it, so on and so forth. How long will it take me to get the money so I can move on safely and successfully, or not? You know, what's going to happen? Bracing myself, basically, get mentally prepared to go into another chapter and for this tower to hit, because it's like, it's not like I don't see the shit coming, right? It's like, it's inevitable. Like, you know, dude moved out, didn't come back, you know, and it's just like, he didn't come back, and I was like, you know what, so he's not coming back, so there's no need for my loyalty anymore, because first of all, he has shown me none, and then he's not coming back. You know, the only thing he's done is do something that he would have to do if he was here in the first place, which is pay these bills, and then he stopped. So it's kind of like, that was a mind frame I'm in. So it's just like, I was completely loyal. He was only coming home every 6 months, and I just like, you know, I was just like minding my business, tending to my son, taking care of myself, healing my childhood wounds from when I was living with my grandmother, you know, and that just really doing some internal work. And then I kind of like, that shit happened. I'm like, man, he really just like did me and my child dirty. Like there was no warning, no nothing. And then, so I did start having people over, like just to talk to. It meant, basically, playing games or like, food and all that stuff and movies and whatever, Then, I left. I took everything I could that belonged to me, and that was that. No, I don't even remember if I even locked the fucking door or not on my way out. I think I did, and not that it was like worth locking. It was just kind of like I did. I tried to do as right by the situation as I could when I wasn't in my ego, basically. So I did do some dirt there towards the end, and towards the beginning, because it's like dude already said he had a wife that was after his money and like threatening to take all his money if he gave a divorce. So he was trying to weasel his way out of it. Then it turns around, he was getting married to someone else. I'm like, oh, so who is who is it? I never found out who that chick was. But it's just a mess of a situation, and he was a clown. Couldn't take him seriously, and I was just like, I did get what I was looking for out of the situation, which was peace, because he was never there. And we went out to some meals or whatever when he was, and he treated me right when he was there. And behind my back it was another story. He had a son who had a twin that he said died. I don't even believe that anymore. He said he passed a while back in some kind of some freak accident or something like that. And yeah, he was showing me all his credentials and stuff that I wasn't impressed by, because I would be like, what does your heart look like, basically. But like I said, I know why I was there. If love happened in a roundabout way, then that's what happened. I was cool with that. It's just like, let it flow. I did enjoy his company when he was there. Fortunately, he wasn't a nuisance to me. Like he wasn't annoying when I was there. We did get along. It was just like, but at the same time, I still, it's just like, you gotta wait till you get to know someone to know if you truly get along. And you do have to, kind of live with them. So it just didn't get that far, right? It just, went down in the ball of flames, basically. So I left, and like spent some years struggling and, couch surfing and into the, first half of it, first half of that, had my son with me while I was going from house to house. I was like, okay, so amount of resources, finances, for the most part, and I'm not gonna have my son sleeping on the streets with me. So, to his dad he went, and that was when I was like, cool, he's okay. I know he's gonna be taken care of, fed. He's with his biological father. That is the best possible situation I can make of this. That is the best possible thing that I can, thing I could do for him, is to have him with his dad, and I'll just be sleeping wherever I need to sleep, but it won't be at somebody's fucking house. Because I was just done with that. I'm like, trying to ask people, hey, can I crash at your house for some time, and da 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 da, and I'm just like, it's not definitely not fucking comfortable. But I never saw a day on the street either, fortunately, and I'm grateful for that. There was always a roof over my head in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, I'm totally grateful, but the only problem was I still had these hoes in my backdrop playing in my money, playing in my finances, stealing from me every chance they got. Basically paying people to gang stalk me, to antagonize me, to come to my job and do some form of harassment, to call in and say that I was on drugs or something, that I was crazy, and to just watch me. And who likes being watched like that? Just random strangers just watching to see if you're crazy, and see your mannerisms, so they can report back to them and tell, say what you're doing, so they can explain off why you're crazy for doing that, for minding your fucking business, right? And just enjoying yourself and being authentically yourself. They wanted people to think I was crazy for just being me. And everybody who met me was like, nah, she's not crazy. She's just herself. And she's not afraid to be herself, which is something they were afraid to be. They were trying to be everything and anything for anyone. They were whores. They were the hoes that they were trying to make me out to be. Energy for everybody. My energy is rated E for exclusive, and their energy is rated E for everybody. My hands rated E for maybe for everybody. kind of sedity, it's kind of snobbish, but whatever. You know, just like it's still like rejection on either end is protection. Like you reject them, they reject you. That's why I never understood why somebody would trip about rejection. Because it's like there's been plenty of times I've been rejected from some shit, and it was because I'm the person who wouldn't let the dirty shit go down. So I got invited to some parties, and then or like they would talk about parties around me and stuff, which is not my scene. I'm not a party girl. I've never really just truly been at heart a party girl. I don't care for that shit, right? And the rumors I'd hear after made it like worth it. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for excluding me from that bullshit, because it's like somehow subconsciously directly you were trying to hurt me, but subconsciously you knew I wasn't gonna let that bullshit slide. You wouldn't be able to pull it off if I were there, because there's certain energies you can't pull that shit off around. So that is truly protection for yourself when somebody else rejects you from some bullshit. It's just, I already know it's bullshit, like MLM scams or whatever. Oh, speaking of that, I was, I guess I could say I was vibing so low. I had so much trust in the motherfucker, and like, this is the situation shit where you had the little girl who was like, they were clinging on to each other, and like, fuck, I was asking for his better judgment, whatever, because I was like in between jobs or whatever, and I was looking for a work from home job, and it was like, everything in me, a lot in me was telling me it was a scam, right? And then I asked for his second opinion. He didn't research it, he didn't really look into it, but I figured, he seemed pretty good with finances. So it's like, something is just really off. The fact that he's telling me he's making this much a year, he's saving this much on paying for his mortgage and the HOA and all this other shit, and we're always taking trips, even though it was on flight benefits, right? Because he worked at a airline for like 25 years and retired off free benefits. He got what do you call it, standbys or whatever. Just pimping the shit out of that system. Him, his, some of his family or whatever, his closest family, and me. And he was gonna put my child on it, and that kind of fell apart before that happened. Like when he did that, it's just like it really started to crumble, because they were really in his ear then. And I could tell the whole time it's like that bitch. I'm sorry, his middle son, because he was significantly older than I was, so I was kind of taken aback by the fact that he would let somebody be in his ear like that, no matter who the fuck it was, best friend or otherwise, son, child, mother, just like that's a grown, like he claimed to be a grown ass man, but he let somebody get in his ear to that extent that it broke it just like made him act like he did, thinking like any dude in his 40s talking about, oh, my kids' friends think I'm a player or pimp. I'm like, yeah, that was a red flag. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna take this person seriously, but it's just like I'm gonna stick around and see what happens. Then I fucked around and found out clearly, right? It just wasn't about shit. He was talking about marriage, and I'm like, I don't know how you can even fix your mouth to say the word, because it's just like it's not in you. Loyalty is definitely not in you. You're not even loyal to you. You don't even see people running game on you in your face. And I understand a temporary lapse in judgment, but like your whole life though. So the first, okay, let's start with that. Let's switch to that one. The whole situationship, it was just like he was trying to argue until he calmed down. I was like, you know what? And we had a disagreement about me being still in contact with one of my an ex-fling, basically, which was the most recent one. Wasn't many of those, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll delete him, because I got a ride to work, because he was taking his time or giving me a hard time about giving me a ride to work. So I'm like, motherfucker, if I can get an Uber for free, I'm out here like trying to build my finances, why the fuck not? Like I really said, because I had no intention of sleeping with the dude. So like my issue in connections is that I don't like questions. I don't like the where you going, what are you going to be doing, who are you going to be with, because as long as you like, I don't like answering those questions. It's like I'm not going to be doing anything wrong, and that's all you need to know, because that's factual for me. Like I'm not going to be out there making you look stupid. I'm not going to be out there doing you wrong. I am going to be out there doing what I said I would, disrespect the relationship, situationship that I'm in, or whatever, the connection that I'm in. He did not do that, so blocked. Okay, cool, done. He didn't have to say shit about it, because I feel like that shit, that type of thing, it just happens in natural order. But typically, by default, if I feel like it could be a relationship, I'll do that. And he, come to find out, he was still holding on to a couple people, 2 or 3 people. And then it's like, okay, he got rid of all of them but one. And and then after that, he had some, like, after I deleted everybody, blocked everybody that I was really in contact with, that was even remotely attracted, like wanting to be romantically involved, which is pretty much everybody in my damn phone. I guess, yeah, I was just done. And shit, that was it. And he proceeded to have a fucking issue. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you the passwords to my shit. I'll give you everything. Facebook, social media, I'll give you all this shit. And if you're still bitching after that point, then I just assume that you just want some drama, and I'm gonna be out the door, because I don't do drama. I do not do that shit, like, at all. Like, it's not my thing. Like, you will be watching me walk away, or whatever. What the situation will be dissolved. By me walking away, or you not doing that. Not tripping about it anymore, because I'm not gonna keep revisiting the past when it's clearly been resolved. So it's like, I gave him all that. He didn't have anything to say. There were no more arguments. It was just like, more, can we talk? To the point that the shit was like, really? We're really having this discussion of fucking again? And it's like, working my nerves. Because I'm like, dude, you say you're good with the situation. I say I'm good. When I say I'm good, I'm good. Like, what I say is what I mean. And I'm not revisiting the shit at all. Like, there's no revisiting the situation, unless it comes up in a different way. But he had a way of making the situation happen in a different way and bringing it up again and having something to discuss. It's like he wanted there to be turmoil in the relationship. I'm like, okay, cool, this shit ain't gonna last. So this is all before he broke his neck. And like, I was there for him for the whole 6 months to a year, whatever. And I was really planning on leaving him once he was fully healed and back at work and in full swing of things. And then I kind of started to love him a little bit, started to demonic. I'm like, life goes on. That's always been my mentality. With or without you, no matter what happens, that world keeps spinning, baby. Like the universe keeps going, everything keeps going. Nothing stops for one person, except their vessel, maybe. If you stop anything, you stop it with your mind, right? But you can't stop everything else. You can only stop things internally for yourself, and even if you stop thinking, if you shut your brain off and just stop thinking, guess what? Your blood keeps running until the Most High said, time's up, and then your heart stops or whatever. Now, only then does anything truly stop. So, that's definitely a lesson for them. And they were thinking, oh, we have so much control and power over this person by giving them all of our power, by getting giving up on ourselves every day and getting up to choose death when they choose life, and to be a total just a total parasite, really. That's really what they were. They were parasites. They were parasitic. They were like tapeworms to my finances. It's just like, just go the fuck away. And my part in entertaining it, and part defending myself, and part entertainment, I should have just, but it's like, it's one of those things when you can't really do anything about it. The authorities aren't doing anything about it as they, you feel they should. It's kind of like you gotta laugh about the shit until you see a way out, and now they're, somebody's still trying to use the same bullshit tactics that are gonna get them fucked up. So there's that. Everybody knows their intentions already. Everybody has seen. The joke is that they saw them, and they said nothing. They saw them and said, some people said something. They went to jail. They went to court about it, or they reported it to the officials, and they tried to lay low and play slow. When they were investigating me, though, like when I was under this false investigation, they were all on me like flies on honey, and it was crazy to me. Like, y'all could really launch a whole fake investigation, but you can't get these hoes off the street, from prostituting their energy to try to get one up on me. It's really weird to me. It's really weird. So they're still out here talking about the same shit, body counts, and fucking money. And that's all these hoes care about. Truly, really, and genuinely, and truly, you can hear it in their voice. That's all they can think about. And try to disprove my status of who I am when I'm literally sitting up here off the top of the dome getting downloads from the Most High, right? And they're sitting there talk about my vajayjay. So counting my money, counting what they can physically see, and I'm getting downloads that are actually and like predicting futures, and these motherfuckers are still here trying to disprove with finances and body counts and who may or may not want. Because that was another thing they did. They tried to get ahead of me. Like, I'm freelancing, right? And I have like over 100 different places I've gone that they've been to, right? And they even tried to beat me to them, and they didn't have a fucking schedule there. They didn't pick up a shift at that job. Like, so, which means they had no business showing up there, which means they were stalking and harassing. They were conspiring, right? Breaking all kinds of laws. And somehow I'm the one who gets blocked because they kept coming in. Or, totally fucking illegal, totally immoral, and they weren't calling the police either. So half of them weren't calling the fucking police. They weren't doing right by me at all. Because I'm like, I'm not going to sit up here and put up with their shit, because there was a whole gaslighting thing. It's like, you mean to tell me that they're out here trying to actively ruin your life, but I do this and I get, the cold shoulders? Like, it's just, like I said, there's just some shit you just don't do. As an adult, people know what they're doing wrong, and I'm not going to sit up here and put up with it because somebody else is doing worse. You're trying to, so they literally started scapegoating these people, which was another part of their downfall, because just like that, people who they literally attracted the kind of people that they are, people who lack accountability. It's like, yeah, you may not be doing this to me, but you are doing this, and I'm not going to punish somebody for what somebody else did to me. I'm going to punish them for what they are doing. They need to be held accountable for what they are doing in whatever situation. It doesn't have to be a situation that has to do with another situation. It could be an entirely isolated situation, and that's what these people who didn't want to take accountability were failing to realize. And it's just like, they were like, it was just like serious gaslighting and manipulation to the point it's just like, you know, I was like, okay, cool. It's like y'all want me. You know, it's like they wanted me to fit the narrative of an angry black woman, which I've never been, and I'm not going to be, because it's just like, what's the point of that when I could just be better? I can do better, I can be better, and like I could literally go transmute the fuck out of that energy somewhere by myself and just be chilling for however long. You know, I don't have to sit in that energy. Like, they feel like they have to, which is why they do, and that's why they feel stuck, and that's why they're angry. You only get really angry when you feel stuck in something. Have you ever noticed that? Like, when you feel like when you're not able to properly, or you haven't figured out how to properly transmute that energy, or a way to transmute that energy, that's when you're truly upset and angry. Because it's just like somebody could do some fucked up shit or say some fucked up shit, and you look into their mindset and their logic, and it's absolutely hilarious on the spot. Whereas others would have been crushed by it. Like, if you can't transmute energy, then you'll live a miserable fucking life. So really, they were throwing out energy that was boomeranging back to them, that they thought would have somebody stuck. But I didn't know how to transmute stuff. I mean, my connection is with the Most High. That's who I walk with. That's who I roll with. When it looks like I'm by myself, I'm fucking not. Don't ever get it twisted. I'm not by myself. I just roll solo because I don't feel comfortable running in packs. I'm a loner, like, by nature. I can be a social butterfly. I can be very, very sociable. I can be very cordial, but I'm more of a introvert, a sigma. You know, like that's who I am. I'm an individual person. I'm not trying to run in a pack. I'm not trying to lead. I can lead or follow. I can take it or leave it. Either way is good with me, because I know I'm gonna be all right. My connection with the Most High tells me so. You know, so it's like these people are very limited. The ones who are sitting around talking shit, it's just like at one mistake they sit here and it's like energy form. It's like you just dropped a big heaping pile of very potent energy, and they're just like all over it, like little ants. You know, just like, oh my gosh, like she made a mistake. Like, oh my gosh, you know, just running around like it's a hot topic. So like, what the fuck? And it's just like, it looks so pathetic from the perspective of someone who has a serious amount of brain power. It's like, okay, so you're good at one thing, you perfected the craft of whatever, building a fucking sandwich, you know, oh, congratulations, you know, like my mind is like, you know, on 80 billion things at once, and you fixate on the fact that a piece of lettuce was on a piece. Oh wow, okay. You know, art is messy. Art is like, you know, it's broad, it's not compact unless you make it that way, right? But it, you know, it's just funny to just to observe how people are. It's just like they wait for you to fuck up so they can run and tell somebody. It's like, how small is your life? Where's your purpose? That would even be something that you would run and tell somebody, and like have a bunch of people like their skills, and some of them they had to be able to build their skills to their full power and then be able to control it. And some of them they had full power of their skills, but they had no control. So it depends on where you are in your journey, right? Everybody's on different learning curves. I love the X-Men series. I'm still trying to find out. I can't remember. There was a battle going on in the beginning of one of these movies. I don't know if it was like an Avengers, First Class, or whatever type movie, where there was a war going on where I think there was like Sentinels or something like that. These robots, I can't for the life of me remember. It's like they were timeline hopping or something, I believe. And Storm, she like lightning bolt from the sky and charges this dude up, and I'm like, that's the divine feminine, divine masculine contrast, because divine feminine is spiritual protection, it's mental protection, making the house a home, and the divine masculine is the physical protection. He protects on the 3D, keeps any harm from coming to the divine feminine. So he'll be out there taking the hits and throwing blows, while the divine feminine is like keeping him mentally protected for war. And she, takes the lightning from the sky and charges him, gives him a jolt, and his eyes turn red. And, he starts like, he gets like this, this warlust about him, and starts kicking ass. So that was one thing. I am kind of going all over the place, but a lot of these people, they don't have anybody in their life to do that, and they don't know that they can truly do that for themselves, if they know how to transmute that energy. So they're out there fighting these wars, running off of either or energy. They're running off of divine magic, they're running off of masculine energy, or they're running off of feminine energy. And it's like, it's a lot of dudes out here that are running off of toxic feminine energy, constantly in war with their inner masculine, because it's like, it's hard to be a woman, it's hard to be a man in their own rights either way, and there's battles in every different chakra in the masculine and feminine energies. So all the way from the crown to the base chakra, there's a war that each of those has to fight, kind of like rite of passage, and then the more you fight that same war, the more you haven't learned the lesson, then the more acute the skills and the powers become pertaining to that chakra. And I think that makes sense. And you have to realize which war are you fighting, which chakra are you building, are you harnessing skills for? Because sometimes you'll learn the same lesson. You're like, yeah, you learned it this way, but maybe you can learn something about it in this aspect and from this perspective. And you have different ways to transmute different energies from different chakras being attacked. Those are 7 power zones in your body. Like, how are you manifesting? Are you manifesting from your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, your throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, sacral, root chakra, all that. What kind of energy are you being attacked from? What kind of energy are you putting out is how you will be showing up in the world. And that's both, actually, I feel like that's both from the shadow side and the high frequency side, the divine side. So it's like, the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. It's like they both have chakra systems, and you have to I feel like maybe it's like a shit. Like, there's no fucking way that you will ever be back. Like, you might get back into good graces, but you will never be back in the energetic field of the collective, because you have completely blown that bridge the fuck up. And they're like, either you are now a liability, there's no way you can be an asset to the collective. And the motherfuckers know good and damn well they cannot swim, but they don't realize that that's the bridge that they would have to swim back across, or they would have to cross back over ever again. And that was how strong the hate was. And it's like they're willing to play in our face with it, because the hate be so strong, be so real, that the love is fake, and that's how they operate, and that's how they get other people to operate. They specialize in turning people into karmic energies, and it's that's their specialty. It's just like, we want you to be karmic. We want you to be some ain't shit people just like us. We want you to sit around all day and give up on your purpose, on your why, so you can be a why person and not a frequency. We want you to give up on that shit so you can be sitting here with us trying to drag down the divine. And that's how you become slowly but surely demonic, and they chip away at your spirit after you lose sight of your purpose, and they drag you further and further away from it until you become like them, negative energy, which you become so insignificant and small that it's just like an annoyance, to the point that they just don't exist anymore in the light. While the divine energies, we just ascend. We hit the frequency, we hit our highs, we hit our lows. It's a constant battle, right? Because it's like, if you're a divine being, it's always going to be a motherfucker trying it somewhere, until we can change the frequency of the world, in which case those energies on those lower frequencies simply cannot exist on certain frequencies. So it's like, it's not a matter of timelines, it's a matter of frequency frames, is what I'll say. It's an FF, frequency frames. And it's just like, at what frame were we in this frequency, and what happened at the decline of this frequency, what was going on, and then we can slowly build it back up. Like, what were black people doing before slavery, and Christians? Like, what was everybody doing before that? I just have a question about what those Bibles are made of. Not the pages, the covers. Because I don't know if everybody saw my post about the skin, black people's skin, which I wouldn't be surprised if they still were trying that shit today. Yeah, and coincidentally, I made a post about the thickness of skin, like the truth, living in your truth, and then the light, and then the sunshine gives your skin a certain thickness and luminosity. And, lo and behold, there's a post about how black people's skin, slave skin, prisoner skin was used as leather. They were skinned, and, they went through the whole process, and that, the highest quality of leather was used as accessories, jackets, shoes, coats, I already said jackets, purses, wallets, books, belts, and there was a reference made to black children having thicker skin. They were tested as alligator bait. Shout out to Papa Do's for those gator bites. Yeah, Houston, Texas, baby. And yeah, they would be lured in alligators, crocodiles, whatever. The point is, there were heinous acts committed against children, and most of the deaths causing slavery, believe it or not, plenty of them, or a lot of them, a significant amount of them, were caused by Caucasian women beating black children to death. Never mind the fact that they were using black women to nurture their children with their breast milk. It's quite interesting. More spiritual attacks like that, they spend the longest attacking our spirit. And just like they can't beat the black off of us, they can't beat the spirit off of us either, in any way, shape, or form. It's not going anywhere. Our connection is with the Most High, because if so, we would be completely genocided on the entire planet. It was if it was up to these people, you know, these deep demonic people with these demonic bloodlines, you know, like I said, somebody don't belong here, and I can only imagine. So it's part of why I do this. It's like, come on, man. It's like, you know, like we just gonna sit here and just be laughing, shucking and jiving, you know, like, and not saying shit about the situation. I mean, everybody has their different way of transmuting the energy of their ancestors, because, you know, we're all born with certain habits and traits of our ancestors that were, you know, indoctrinated, of course, by way of being colonized. You know, turning up, like, our disloyalty to each other is like, well, it's fucking crazy. It's wild as fuck, like how quick, you know, our race of people will turn on each other. And like, if we, you know, get back together like the times where we were able to build whole cities and shit before they started blowing them up. Speaking of which, you know, they dropped a bomb on a city inside of their own country, which explains right there how bad they fucking hated us, and probably still do to this day. But they don't blow the shit up anymore. They just stop us from getting it at all, you know, unless we, you know, go into like some kind of industry where they get highly profit off of us, and, you know, they make it so hard to get your masters once you're there, you know, for the most part. But that's just coming to an end, because it's like things have been brought to the light, and that's what the light is. It's like, it's the exile of darker energies, of darker practices, things like that. Like, there's a song that I feel transmuted the energy, that energy damn good. And, you know, don't shoot the messenger, you know, love the way you lie. And that shows a bunch of different dynamics throughout history. It shows the twin flame journey. It shows the Caucasian and black journey. Which, my question is, okay, the whole white people thing, how did they become white people? Because they didn't exist until 1861. But that, yeah, I'll get to that later. You know, they just came into existence and started forming alliances. Like, what the fuck, you know? But yeah, so I think that's when the twin flame journey kind of just started, because I feel like maybe everybody got along. And believe it or not, fried chicken, random thought, fried chicken was actually, from what I understand and from what I'm like hearing, reading, and, you know, it's just like, it's, how do you really know, you know, unless you get the message from the divine, apart from books and videos. The Scottish actually were the creators of fried chicken, and we just came in with the seasoning and shit and kind of, you know, hooked it up. And that's why KFC is like the biggest fast food chain it is today, you know. But it was like fried chicken just became a hit after the blacks, the Africans, got a hold of it. Yeah, so props to the Scottish, man. Like, I feel like, you know, everybody really just got along until, you know, maybe a group of people who were just like, you know, maybe they just weren't having the best of luck. Maybe they lost their connection with the divine, and, you know, maybe they were able to integrate a demonic energy unbeknownst to the collective at that time, of that generation, of that ancestry, into the higher frequencies of the colonies, you know, which would be food and things like that. And I have a bunch of different theories as to like how different things happen, but there's just theories, you know, and I'm gonna get to them when I thicken the skin of a lot of people, because it's just like, people are like, I'm like hearing the responses around me, and it's just like, people are just truly fucking snowflakes. Like, I'm just, you know, I could look at them and fucking melt them. Like, it's just like, how dare you look at me like that? Like, I was just, you know, hello. Like, I don't mean any harm. I'm just here spitting truth in theory. You know, it's just, I thought you were thinking people who I thought, you know, you like to think and people were logical. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe you just want to be in La La Land and not really think about anything. Okay, then do that and stay off my page. You know, you don't have to, if you don't want to think, if you don't want a different perspective that might be outside of yours, then you should definitely stay away from my shit. You know, I don't have a problem if you don't want to hear it. Just, you know, stay blind to it. I'm not pushing, well, could I be pushing a narrative? I don't know. I'm just speaking truth, man, about history. Because I am speaking a narrative of changing to a higher frequency. And to do that, we have to uncover some shit, unpack some shit that has been severely traumatizing to many bloodlines, if not every bloodline of this planet. Because it's like, in some way, shape, or form, it has affected every culture. This demonic energy that got a hold of some folks and made them think they were better than everybody else. It is what it is. Or some people that just simply did not want to accept their karma and their fate for the wrongdoing they did, and they wanted to double down on being wrong, which is is starting to really show in some people's ancestry, some people's DNA today. They just really wanted to double down on being wrong because they felt entitled to some shit that they had absolutely no rights to. They wanted to create exclusion and ownership of stuff that truly did not belong to them, but it only belonged to the Most High. And that's how that shit started. But I guess I'll I don't know, I think I'll leave it there for now. It's something to think about. It's like definitely pretty. Maybe it's some stuff you already knew. Maybe it's some stuff you can add to, offer a different perspective to, and and maybe stay away from like maybe my personality, because that really doesn't have shit to do with this. And personal attacks in general is just like just look at it. Just look at the how the frequencies are going throughout this video, and kind of like envision the frequency in your mind, like where it is when you refuse to accept your karma and you try to double down on being wrong, in which case you're starting to resulting in you really just like multiplying your karma, not just accumulating more. You're simply multiplying your karma, probably exponentially, by simply refusing to accept it and trying to duck and dodge it and put masks and illusions over your karma and your fate, instead of making it better for your life to the point that it's just an avalanche that you're just not going to be able to stop it. That's where it is now. You're not going to be able to stop it, but there's a perspective that you can have as you go through it, and just embrace it. Learn the lessons, embrace the lessons. Like, that's part of life. Lessons are life. If you're not learning lessons, then your life ain't lifing for you, in some way, shape, or form. Some of the lessons feel great, and some of them feel absolutely fucking horrible. That's the frequency. So, with that said, I'm gonna leave the video there. Oh, also, another thing, I no longer say good morning because of the backstory behind it, which is every time a slave died, the slave masters would come in and say good morning just to rub it in their face, and then on top of that they would make them say that back too. This is why I'm not into formalities, because I'm like, why should I have to acknowledge you? I know you're there. Are you there to help? Do what you need to do and get the fuck on, right? And on top of that, I didn't know what was behind it, and now I know. Like, I've never been a fan of that type of shit. Like, I know that you're here. If you need help, I'll help you. And if you come to me, if you come correct, of course. But yeah, pretty sinister shit. And yeah, so that's part of, if we want to attack a person, that's part of who I am. It's just, I don't like saying good morning. I don't like saying goodbye. It's just like, maybe see you later, see you tomorrow, whatever. It's not me being rude. It's just like, it's just not in my nature to do that stuff. Like, I refuse to accept that fucking programming. I'm not rude. I'll definitely be willing to help if you come correct and if you ask, or whatever. We can engage in conversation, have conversations about whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not uncomfortable. Are you? Because it's just like, I can have conversations about whatever. I don't do taboo. Like, we can talk about it seriously. I might not be in the mood sometimes, but hey, catch me in the mood. Like every once in a while. But there's literally nothing I'm not really willing to talk about, unless it's reunions with people from my past. Y'all can fuck off. Okay, stay there, stay put, sit, lay. All right. So with that said, love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Grand Rising is a beautiful freaking day, man. Enjoy your life as much as you can from whatever situation you're in. Learn your lessons. Enjoy